2022 was a banner year for drummer Brian Blade. 9 recordings were released with Brian as a leader, co-leader, or side player that year. As the year was coming to a close, I began to compile my list of best jazz of 2022. It was then that I realized that Brian had been a very busy man during the last few years. Well, my curiosity was spiked about this. I wanted to talk to Brian about this prolific output of music, but you see, I had already interviewed him in 2022, twice. But hey, I wanted to find out more about his incredible list of recordings. So on this 8th episode of Strictly Jazz Sounds, Brian Blade and I have our third conversation in a year. Hi, this is Steve Browngen with Strictly Jazz Sounds, your place for conversations about all things jazz. The initial focus of this podcast was to be Brian's latest released recording by a band he co-led in 2001, Life Cycles. The recording was saluting NEA jazz master, vibe, and marimba artist Bobby Hutcherson with Life Cycles 1 and 2, Now and Forever, honoring Bobby Hutcherson. But a few months had passed since this conversation took place, and Brian just released another recording, Mama Rosa. That's what happens with a little procrastination, not on Brian's part, but mine. It's hard to imagine, but if you don't know who Brian Blade is, well, here's the upshot. Brian is a multi-Grammy award-winning drummer, group leader, record label founder and owner, an all-around great guy. He's recorded and performed with artists equal to him, including Wayne Shorter, Chick Corea, Christian McBride, Joshua Redman, John Patitucci, Danilo Perez, Joni Mitchell, and Emmylou Harris. And I can go on and on. Brian is one of the heavyweights. Brian seems to be always in the mix. What is wonderful about this conversation is learning more about Brian as a person as well as a musician and artist, and learning about what's behind some of the recordings and bands he's created with people like the late maestros Wayne Shorter and Bobby Hutcherson, and his relationship with singer-songwriter and pianist Norah Jones. Spoiler alert, Brian Blade plays guitar, and he played it with Norah Jones, who played drums with Brian on guitar. I invite you to subscribe so you are alerted to future episodes and articles written by me, as well as events and information I want to pass on to you. The music you hear on this podcast is from the Life Cycles album, Now by Bobby Hutcherson and Gene McDaniels, and Forgotten Memories by Myron Walden. The Life Cycles personnel include Brian Blade is on drums, of course, John Coward on piano, Myron Walden on sax, Doug Weiss on bass, John Hart on guitar, Monty Croft on vibes and vocals, Rogerio Bacato on percussion. Listen in to my conversation with this extraordinary person from New Orleans, Louisiana, Brian Blade. Brian Blade, welcome to the Strictly Jazz Sounds podcast. It is a delight to talk to you again.
Man, my pleasure, Steve. Thank you for having me. Thank you for wanting to talk again. I'm glad we get this opportunity once more.
Oh yeah, this is the kind of thing that every once in a while I want to check in with Brian Blade and see how he's doing, and so we're going to find out, aren't we?
Yes, let's see how he's doing.
Let's see how he's doing. That's right. You have a new album out.
Yes.
Life Cycles Volumes 1 and 2. Yes. I'm looking at it right now. I have it. I just got it in, and I've been listening to it. This is really a remarkable recording. Life Cycles Volumes 1 and 2, Now and Forevermore, honoring Bobby Hutcherson. You played with Bobby before in the SF Jazz Collective.
Yes, that first year of the collective, and I was already such a fan and admirer of Bobby, and who he was as a musician, but then to get to know him as a person, spend time with him, and to know that all that joy and light and love that came from each strike of the bar, this, he was that person that emitted that sound and that grace and that beauty, yeah, and that laughter. so, so I unfortunately, so many things take time to come to fruition, to manifest. Like you have an idea, but okay, I need to I need to start moving more, just a little bit quicker when it comes to these thoughts, because as we were speaking about earlier, we friends leaving this place and leaving us behind to carry on. So I never got the chance to record with Bobby. I mean, with this personal, with
with
this
his
person,
personal band.
yeah,
Right.
or with this group actually. But I'm thankful that we could play his music and honor him, hopefully, in the doing of that, and that he is smiling down on us uh, to hear his music echoing.
He was quite the musician. And tell me about him as a person. What are you honoring about him as a person?
Yeah. Well, I just felt that um, oftentimes, with heroes that you meet through their writing or through their recordings or through their films or what have you. You see or hear or take in a what you think is that person, what they're about. But that's not always the case. The gift does not always align with uh, with a life lived. But with Bobby, they seemed absolutely parallel. As I speak about, just the exuding the joy that would come from his music. And then you'd sit with him. We'd be on the bus going to the next city for the next concert, or just rehearsing. He's always bringing so much laughter and literal hugs. Like coming into a room and embracing you, and always including you. And so, that's what we want in a father and in a brother and in our heroes. And he was that. And I was just thankful to have been given permission from his sons Teddy and Barry to proceed with this recording and to hopefully shine a light on on Bobby's life, just in the smallest way, to say, "Oh man, we heard you, and we're thankful that we heard you, and we're thankful that we met you, and our life is enriched because of it." So, you know, uh, hopefully, the next generation will discover Bobby Hutcherson uh, as well.
And the album now, which was by Bobby Hutcherson, the original album, um,
Yes.
it's considered his most political expression, but isn't it also a spiritual one?
I would say so, and those things often trying to separate the salt from the soup in life. When it comes to these things, these things of God, if you will, and these things of the world. But if we can truly consider God sovereign, then we hopefully it won't be such a mystery as to these things that happen, and to these things that things we witness that men do. Bobby, I think, having been born in 40s, like, and living through a turbulent time in America socially. I'm sure he witnessed quite a bit and experienced quite a bit. And so this recording now, it spoke to me immediately, not so much because of anything political, even though there is the cry for freedom, there is the acknowledgement of Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and there is Harold Land and Gene McDaniels, Joe Chambers, this alchemy and chemistry that's just so powerful. And when they come together, and yeah, the lyricism of it all, it spoke to me, and to the degree where we just wanted to record the entirety of that work, and and it's still speaking. So I was yeah, so,
Absolutely. It is
yeah,
speaking loud and clear.
yeah. Yeah.
I like the way that you put it, Brian. Alchemy. This chemical mixture, this um, binding of this power of the spirit, and but also a cry for freedom in so many kinds of ways. It's I'm amazed on what Eugene McDaniels did on that album. Um, Talk about him and his vocal work on the original album, and what influence he may have had on on Life Cycles recording this album.
Well, my main well, let's say, I wouldn't say concern, but objective was to be as true to that great work, the Now album, and Bobby's vision, and the entire uh, group of musicians' vision as possible, while still taking it into ourselves, and expressing, what it means to us personally, and as a group. So G. McDaniels, what a deep history. Um, Obviously, like his earlier sort of songs that as I was researching, and 100 pounds of clay and Tower of Strength. These songs from the '60s that were his amazing voice. And so but he kind of, he took another, I would say, radical turn, as the '60s made, early '60s became the later '60s and into the '70s. His music became more challenging and less hit parade,
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's a good way to
not.
put it.
I mean, not that he was ever striving for that. I think he was always being himself, but he himself became someone else. Gene McDaniel's evolving, and so I was thankful to take that trip to learn more about him, and thankfully Chick Corea, the time I got to spend him, not to go off track here too much, but I was speaking with Chick Corea while we were traveling, while I was thinking of doing this project, and he connected me with Joe Chambers, the great drummer and
Oh, good.
and composer, who obviously is on now and played a lot with Chick Corea. And so I was able to ask Joe Chambers a little bit about the process. But I think, having done so many great recordings, it was perhaps just another great series of sessions that he added to his his life. And so I think he told me that he didn't have any lyrics or remaining sheet music from that time, which I was really after, because I wanted to make sure that I was hearing everything exactly right. And in certain instances, I chose to actually not have Monty Croft, the vibraphonist and vocalist in the Life Cycles group. We chose to 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 render them as instrumentals, instead of actually including the lyrics and vocalizing on every song that were available on that recording. And I'm happy in a way that it happened this way and went this way. It makes it our own unique take on it, hopefully, and people will hopefully search for those original recordings by Bobby and G McDaniels. After having heard perhaps for the first time this music through us. So
The instrumentals work well.
yeah. Oh, great, great.
I think they do.
Thank
I can hear the vocals
you. Yeah.
in that, and it spoke to me for sure. And I was not only satisfied, I was indeed pleased on you putting just your mark on this in the way that you saw it. But it's also, as you put it, it's a way to acknowledge, recognize, and really to honor what Eugene McDaniels did and what Bobby did, um, binding their forces together to create quite an album that was released at that time. And I'm not too sure how many people today remember that album. And this was a good way to recognize that. So you put your imprint on this, Brian. You most certainly did.
Well, thank you. It's interesting, man. Within the world, there's so much to experience. Obviously, there's, I mean, historically speaking, aside from the moment, that things that come to light right now, but that this record came out the year I was born. Yet, yet, when I heard it, I don't know when, in my 20s or 30s, I don't even remember. I say when I say that it's still speaking, I really feel I feel I say it with all sincerity that you put it on and all the messages and all of the intention, all that all what was captured, it's relevant and it's still pulsing with life. And so it's an honor to kind of. I wish I'd have talked to Bobby about it. I wasn't quite there yet when we met. I didn't know that I was gonna get to this place of but anyway,
Isn't that the way it happens in life, huh?
too often it does.
All too often. And then we look back and we go,
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
wish. And that's the kind of thing that, I'm in that state of mind today.
I know, I know.
I wish. So, but Joe Chambers, man, he did 10 albums with Bobby Hutcherson. Did you know that?
I think I kind of knew that. I certainly have them all, but I don't think I actually did just a good hard count. I just needed to get all of those records that Bobby made, of course with Harold Land, but you know Stanley Cowell in part, and with
Yeah.
Joe Chambers, whose compositions grace so many of these recordings. Hello to the Wind from Now, uh, you know, not the least, but so it's so masterful and so deep. I'm so sorry. You know the dogs. They're vigilant and somebody outside or something. Anyway,
Hey, it
uh,
happens.
yeah,
Dogs
yeah,
happen. You know, it's
yeah.
during these days when there are many conversations that are made now over the computers with Zoom and so forth. All these things happen.
That's true. but sorry, but back to Joe Chambers. Yes, I think initially through the Adam's Apple recording of Wayne Shorter, and you know, I just immediately heard the mastery of his expression, and then of course his relationship with Bobby, and all of those recordings. It just is so deep, so deep.
The people that he worked with over time, Andrew Hill.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's deep.
Yes, as well.
And Max Roach with the Boom Band.
Oh, yes, that's right.
You
That's
remember that?
that's right. Yeah.
And he also was part of Miles Davis's In a Silent Way.
Oh, yes.
And Joe Henderson, Mingus, Sam Rivers, Archie Shepp.
Wow, 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 wow.
And what's really special is Joe Chambers is still with us
Yes, absolutely. I,
and recording.
yeah, yeah. I hope I get to see him again very soon. Once we were traveling, I forget where we were, South Carolina maybe, and Joe was a resident instructor at some point uh, down south. Uh, I was with Chick, so we got to talk a bit, and what a what a force, what a force! Wow,
I've never seen him live. I would love to see him live.
yeah,
Um, I hope he comes this way. But you know, I had I had spoken with you earlier, and I said there were 9 recordings that you were on in 2022 alone. New recordings
really?
were the ones that were just released in 2022.
Hmm.
I counted 9. One of them was a reissue, of course, the Season of Changes, which came out on vinyl.
Sure.
Then there was the live recording, live from the archives,
Yes.
a bootleg from a 2005 Blues Alley show in Washington D.C. Then I have to remark on that one, which is a great album, Brian. I really enjoyed that. The Oh man,
Thank you.
the spirit of the group is so good. It is. I think it's one of my favorite art live recordings in recent history.
Thank you so much. It's funny how you never know night to night, and uh, there's a all everyone present, but then the group spark, and then all of that igniting a flame. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm glad it got captured, and that.
How did you get that bootleg?
It was really like I can't even say where that tape came from. Like I say, it somehow came to me. Like maybe it was confiscated. But it was certainly in a box, a shoe box of many things that I had over the years. Some unlabeled, sadly, and and I and I was during the pandemic, I had this infinite spare time on my hands, so I started going through these things, trying to catalog. And when I heard this particular tape, I thought, whoa, there's something here. Even with his imperfections, the content I feel is worthy to be shared.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, it's funny.
Myron's work in that is really extraordinary.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
Really extraordinary.
indeed.
As someone who played tenor sax, I just got into that a great deal. I listened to it over and over again
Oh,
for
watching.
about 2 weeks.
I'm glad. I did a recording with a great guitar player named Dave Stryker, and John Patitucci's on that recording as well, and Julian Shore, the pianist. And there's a string quartet on that record, sort of double quartet, and that it was one thing that I really enjoyed making and being part of. The grand in the expanded vision of Wayne Shorter's orchestral work that included the quartet as well. I've been a part of, and that has been a joy. I hope that there's more to come, perhaps from the vaults of Wayne's.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh. To be able to enjoy the richness of Wayne Shorter,
Yeah.
um, as his years wear on, and we hope that he's still with us for a while.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, his What he does is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. It's such genius and so enduring, man. Every time I think about the first recordings I bought when I was 16, jazz recordings.
What were those?
One was Juju.
Uh-huh.
The other was Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Ugetsu.
Oh yeah.
And the third was Miles Davis Quintet live at the Plug Nickel. Now I wasn't completely aware at the time but when I returned home and sort of laid them all out and started reading I said, oh, okay, Wayne Shorter. Okay, I knew Juju was obviously Wayne's record as a leader, but then I'd say, okay, oh, and Miles Davis Quintet, he's on here. Oh, and Art Blakey Jazz Messengers, oh yeah, he's on here too. So he's been a thread in my life ever since the beginning, and I'm so it's some things you just don't see coming. It's so deep,
A golden thread, I
truly.
tell you. you've had so rich of a life with so many people, Brian, and it's almost like I'm ready to. Um, remember that show? I think it was "This Is Your Life."
Yeah, yeah.
So we go from John Coward to John Patitucci, Danilo Perez, Chick Corea, Christian McBride, Joshua Redmond, Brad Meldow, Nora Jones, Kenny Garrett, David Binney, Dan Weiss, Scott Colley, Craig Taborn. You guys worked together with David for a while,
Yes, yes, sir.
and then of course Joni Mitchell,
Yes. Wow.
Emmylou Harris, Daniel Lanois. I'm like, my gosh, where does Brian Blade stop?
Well, it's truly like I say, you don't see certain things coming, but what a blessing, all of these people have been in my life, and I feel like any self criticism or lack of confidence that might have been you know kind of rearing its ugly head along the way. I know that there was preparation made. I was supposed to hear certain things at certain times, and although it wouldn't make sense to me until say 20 years later, God had a plan, and I just had to continue walking it out, and you know from age 16 until what would have been, 1986 until 2000, or so, before meeting Wayne Shorter.
Yeah,
uh, you know, you can't make that kind of thing happen. You just it's just an orchestration that is truly divine.
you have been on a journey that is remarkable. It is such a story, Brian. I marvel at it. I got caught up in finding out more about your journey, and I was looking at all of those recordings from last year, because you also did the I call it the Great Quartet of Joshua Redman, Brad Meldow,
Oh,
Christian McBride, and yourself,
right.
which was up for a Grammy. And I'm sorry that you didn't win that, but um, Terry Lynn did quite a job there.
Yes, right. Well deserved.
Very well deserved. And then you did the singles from Life Cycles. So all of that was 2022.
Well, it's interesting, man. Like I say, the coming out of coming into 2020, and when no one really knew what was about to happen, but then we kind of had to be still for a minute there. All of a sudden, I had time to do the things that I never seemed to be able to finish. I had time to focus on these ideas. And so what initially seemed to be a curse, I mean, losses and grieving aside, it really turned out to be a blessing and gave me great hope. And the manifestation of that time spent, focusing, it's coming around now. Things are coming out, things are being released, and I had to learn, I had to go through a lot to really understand the depth of releasing something, what that truly means, not just to have it exist in your room, which I thought I was fine with, like, oh yeah, okay, I did it, and I can, it's a diary. But then when it gets when it's shared, and then the circle's completed, so to speak, then then the ripples happen. Then the stone gets thrown in the ocean, and it just doesn't. infinite amount of possibilities of whom might be touched. So I'm thankful that, like I say, not for the circumstances, but in a way, I'm thankful that hopefully we all we all were we all had to persevere and build character, and from that character, hope. And so I want to continue in that and just be thankful, and always, not forgetting.
Your time, your efforts are bearing fruit today for sure. And and we are the recipients of that. And we are grateful for that, for sure. Um, I spent some time sort of straying away a little bit from this album now and forevermore. I was struck. I did not realize on how much time you and Nora Jones spent together,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was really struck by the album Mama Mosa, and you're playing the guitar.
Oh, right on.
And your voice, between the work that you're doing on guitar and your voice, I thought for a moment I was listening to Stephen Stills.
Right on. Well, I'm certainly a fan, and Nora Jones is a gem. I mean, a light in this world, and truly been a blessing in my life. A friend and confidant, and just someone I admire greatly. So to be included, for her to include me in her life and work and music, it's so great. And we enjoy making music together, and so these long relationships, since her first recording, I'm just, like I say, you can't make certain things happen. You really, I mean, you really can't. I mean, sometimes people are part of your life for a season, or for this reason, or for a lifetime. We don't know. We just trust that okay, right now, uh, uh, we've been invited. We're included. We're at the party.
That's a good way to put it. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I wanna stay. I want to stay with those who brought me.
How did you meet Nora Jones? How did that come about?
I guess at the time living in New York City, her being a Texan, and me here in Louisiana, we were never that far apart from each other. I think, I mean, a few years between us. I'm a little older than Nora,
Just
but
just a touch, yeah.
yeah, but we met in New York City as life sort of took her there, and took me there, and through mutual friends, Sam Yahel being the main one, a great pianist and organist that I played with a lot. So it came time for her. People had discovered her gift, and she was about to make her first recording. And so she reached out, and it was just as simple as that. Like we were, we kind of became uh, fast collaborators and friends, and I'm so thankful that it's still unfolding.
Well, I saw that wonderful podcast, the video that was done, or at least there was a video of you two
Right, right.
playing. I paused and I went, "What is going on
Yeah.
here?"
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
She,
Role reversal.
Nora Jones is on drums and you're playing a
Yeah.
guitar,
Yes.
and I'm going, "What is this about?" And then I hear your voice, Nature's Law, um, and then it was also I saw Mercy Angel, but Nature's Law, wow, that is really an incredible piece of lyrical work. You're Your writing is really
Oh,
good,
oh,
Brian.
thanks.
What a gift you have.
Well, thank,
What a gift you are.
thank you, Steve. Man, I hope to record some more of Mama Rosa music real soon. Songs are sort of piling up in the corner while I attend to these other projects and seeing them through and completing the next fellowship band record and doing a little playing with the Life Cycles group in honor of Bobby Hutcherson. I do want to move on to the Mama Rosa body work, the next body work that is. So hopefully this year.
Have you ever have you ever thought about you and Nora going on the road with you playing guitar and somebody else playing drums?
Well,
Have you thought about that?
no, we hadn't thought about that. I mean, I'm just so thankful to be kind of in her band and the drummer in her band and supporting her because just her gift and what she shares with people and what people receive is so deep and beautiful, and so I'm glad to be a part of it in that way.
That has to be a very special thing to do. One other person I wanted to touch base about is David Binney. I, I frankly and honestly, I did not know him. I had not heard of him. And then when I began to explore, I was really amazed at at the arranging, the composing. What what a combination of people too, who were part of this,
Right.
uh, with Craig Taborn and Scott Colley and others. What what a collection of people and music.
Yeah. Well, Dave, again, my time in New York, I met and many new friends, and Dave was one of them. And he just continues to inspire. He's so prolific and just so steadily, searching to birth new music and to compose and to express himself. Uh, Not only through the alto, but just in general, like to have music that's touching souls, as it were. And he's so great. Unfortunately, now that everyone's kind of moved around elsewhere, myself back in Louisiana and him back to the West, we don't see each other that much anymore. But there was a fertile period, and quite a few recordings were made with Scott Colley and Edward Simon and Adam Rogers, all of these dear friends. But yeah, Dave is excellent. So I'm so glad that you kind of know about his music now and who he is. It's because it's a lot, a lot to experience.
It, it is a whole lot
Yeah, yeah.
there. Alto saxophonist, producer, composer, educator,
Hmm.
band leader. His music is wide ranging and and it's intentional in what he does. I mean, he's very careful. You can hear it, um, but he also provides that freedom,
Yeah,
allowing everybody else to explore themselves and their sound together.
yeah.
It it really I'm grateful for this exploration that I did because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten to know a little bit about David Binney and I'm going to explore him a bit more.
Awesome. Oh, great. Well, I hope that we get to play again in the near future. And yeah, Davis, he's yeah, definitely excellent, man.
You've done so much. You've played with so many people. Is there something that you're thinking of doing or someone with whom that you wanted to play that is and you have it off in the distance and you go, I want to do that.
Hmm.
I still want to do that. I mean, you're doing things. You're busy.
Right.
You have projects that you're doing, but is there something else you just go, I wish I
Hmm.
would really like to do that.
Man, I really can't say, Stephen, because it's it. There's been so much to happen that I could have never dreamed. Like I really can't express, uh, how thankful and grateful I am. So anything else from this moment on, I mean, from this very second, it's cherry on the top of the cake. It's been, it's just if nothing else ever happened, I'm still just beyond, just thankful for so many blessings. So, if I can continue playing with and encouraging my friends and the fellowship band and Mama Rosa music and do these things that I feel are, my responsibility to birth and to nurture. Uh, like I say, I couldn't even ask for more.
Oh, Brian, yes, you've had quite a rich life. But we are the beneficiary of that richness. So thank you for all that you've done and the gift of music and friendship that you have given to so many.
Oh, thank you, man.
Brian Blade just released Mama Rosa, which was originally released in 2009. It's now available on CD and vinyl with a bonus track. You are likely to see him someplace near you or on YouTube on a live stream event. So you thought you heard a dog bark? Yes, you did. That was Brian's dog. That's what happens when you are at home recording. I want to thank Brian Blade and Stoner Hill Records for use of the 2 tracks from the album Life Cycles 1 and 2, Now and Forever, honoring Bobby Hutcherson. And I want to thank Laura Blade for the photograph used for the podcast. Also, thanks to Johannes Wallman for the theme music, which can be found on his album Precarious Towers. I invite you to subscribe so you can be informed about future episodes and articles published on the website. Festival season is about to begin. Support live music wherever you are. Thanks for listening. This is Steve Browngen, and you're listening to Strictly Jazz Sounds, your podcast for conversations about all things jazz.